Following is a video on the Seesii multifunction IPC tester as far as being a load tester. What a load tester is it's a device that actually monitors the power output, voltage, amperage, and wattage of a device being used. Now, the fascinating thing about that is generally when you're working with a multimeter, you have two terminals for voltage, and then you have to alter those terminals and redo your wiring to be able to check amperage, and you can't test wattage. Well, on this device, you can actually take a camera and take the power wires of that camera and run them to this tester and be able to tell if that camera is pulling too much of a load, and thereby quickly diagnosing a problem with the camera as to whether it's the camera or whether it's the wire going through the building. Because you can also, if you've got a camera that's got that issue, you can take this directly to that camera and see if it's the camera or if you have a load coming on the wire itself. Now, what we have here is a shortcut on how to do this rather than how you would do it in the field, because the shortcut is just right in front of me, whereas doing it in the field could take quite some time, and actually is something that you as a technician would already know how to do. Now, on this tester you have two connections for this particular test. One of them is the power plug into the tester, which is required because the tester is looking for a power source to be able to test from, and the other is going through the 12-volt output of the tester, and that 12-volt output will go straight to, in my particular case, the camera itself. And you can tell I'm supplying the camera because the camera's plug is showing a green light, which means the camera is on. Now, we don't have the network cable plugged into the camera because we don't need it. All we're doing is checking for camera power. The way to do that is to go to Tools, 12-volt load tester, and it will jump across the screen, but you can almost disregard that because this right here is the most important part. It is showing that the camera is using 12.17 volts. It is using 0.12 amps, and it is using 1.39 watts. That is a test that you cannot normally do off of a multimeter without doing all kinds of maneuvering. Now, the reason why I made the comment that this is the instant way to do it is because what you'll need to do on your equipment is to take the leads of the power for the camera off of the power supply and wire them into a jack that has this type of an end on it, a barrel end. Actually, the barrel end of this size. And what I'm probably going to end up doing is putting a splice point in the middle of this barrel down the cable somewhere, so that when I have to test something, that's what I'll be checking out. Now, if you'll notice, when I unplug the camera, it still says 12 volts, but it says nothing else. That's because the adapter, or the tester, is busy measuring the power coming out of the power cord. If I plug the camera back in, it's going to say it's detecting it. And there it is. Now it's not only measuring the power coming in, but it's measuring the power going out. And that is how you use the power load detection test in the tools section of this Seesii multifunction IPC tester. Talk to you later.